Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to go through this document that was written out by Crypto Rick, and it's submitted to Ripple with the title Private Ledger in brackets S XRP2 Inquiry Submission. So I'm going to go through this document. In this document he basically asks Ripple 13 questions, and they're mostly related to the private ledger and XRP token, there being an alternative XRP token that may potentially be being used by banks replacing XRP. And he asks them 13 questions. Some of the questions seem very similar. It's as if it's the same question but just rephrased in another way. But anyways, 13 questions, and I'm going to try and answer these questions, bearing in mind my answers could be completely wrong because I'm not Ripple. I don't work for Ripple. I'm just a regular guy that just does research, and that's how I form my answers and conclusions based upon researching, critical thinking, being objective, and so on. And so far, it's been doing well for me. So I'm going to answer these questions with that same method of using the information that I know to answer these questions. So let's get started, shall we? Dear Ripple Labs, or to whom it may concern, many investors of the public XRP community would like further clarification. Now, I would just like to say here, I don't know whether it's many investors, because personally, I don't need further clarification at all regarding some topics surrounding the private ledger /S, XRP2, FinCEN, and other unnamed tokens. I definitely don't need any clarification in regards to any of the above, because the reason why I don't need any clarification in regards to any of the above, because all the information is publicly out there. So there's no need for Ripple to give me any clarification. The community seeks direct answers and would appreciate a formal statement from Ripple addressing the following concerns. Now, I feel like he's speaking on behalf of the community here, because I feel like he really wants answers in regards to these questions, not necessarily the XRP community as a whole, but that's neither here or there. The most important thing is going through these questions. So question number 1, can you confirm that it is indeed our identical exclusive public XRP that community members hold that is currently being utilized by banks and central banks on the private ledgers, and there are no other competing or modified XRP, XRP2, XRP-like tokens, or another unnamed untradable token, either XRPL based or otherwise, that is currently being used on the private ledgers, unbeknown. So he's basically asking, can you confirm that on the private ledgers they're using XRP and they're not using any other token for, and he gives some examples for CBDCs, for high value settlements, ODL, ISO related cross border settlements, that is XRP and there's no other XRP token or XRP2 token, and so on. And that is currently being used on the private ledger. So he wants to know that it's XRP being used in the private ledger, unbeknown to the public and nothing else, or sold in secret by Ripple Labs, and that they're not selling any other alternative token other than XRP, Jed McCaleb, or any subsidiary of Ripple, including personal private wallets, which is currently moving value without the public's knowledge. So there's multiple questions in this question, for example. So if you say, can you confirm that is indeed our identical exclusive public XRP that is currently being utilized by banks and central banks on the private ledger? How do we know at the moment that any banks are actually using the private ledgers yet for anything? And even if they are using the private ledger, let's go back to this diagram that I made. Even if these banks do have set up a private ledger with Ripple, if you understand how it works, these banks within their sidechain can use anything they want. The Bank of Brazil, the Bank of Europe created a federated sidechain with Ripple. They could, in their world, in their private sidechain, they could create their own token. That is fine. They could use whatever they want to use in their sidechain. Each of these banks could have their own CBDCs. They don't have to use XRP within their sidechains. Okay, so if he wants a confirmation in the first part that on the private ledger the only thing that's going to be used is XRP exclusively, then no, it's not. The bank has freedom to use anything they want on their private network sidechains. Okay, and then he gives some examples like CBDC private sidechains, high value settlements, ODL, ISO related cross-border settlements. And then it gets a bit complicated here now, because each of these examples are different from the other. So for example, a CBDC private sidechain, on a CBDC private sidechain, a bank could use anything they want on their token. These are CBDC private sidechains, for examples. Look at the diagram. And then he says high value settlements. Now, if a high value settlement is occurring, for example, cross border, where the Bank of Europe wants to privately pay the Federal Reserve USA CBDC to CBDC, then for high value settlement, now it's going to be a bit more complex, because they're both going to have their own CBDC. Unless they both agree to accept, for example, the CBDC of the other country without needing to convert it, then yes, I don't see why they can't set up a private link between each other and pay each other with whatever currency they are willing to accept from each other. However, if they don't want to accept each other's CBDCs and they want instant conversions, then they're going to need a bridge asset. And we know already the XRPL already has a native bridge asset, and that's XRP. And these sidechains could also use XRP if they see it necessary, or they see XRP is something that is going to solve a solution for them and is fit for them to use. So the option of using XRP is always there. If you understand what the purpose is of XRP, you'd understand why they would want to or need to use it within their sidechains, because it solves a problem of interoperability, cross-border payments, and it's a neutral bridge asset. So he's basically saying, are they going to be using XRP for high value settlements? And I'm going to say this: yes, they can use XRP for high value settlements, and the likelihood is they're going to use XRP for high value settlements, especially if it's cross-border payments between each other, because it's a neutral bridge asset. And the chances are of them using another token is going to be very slim, because we're going to have a problem of who wants to accept that token. Yeah, which bank would be willing to accept that token? Or if it's a created token, for example, the Bank of Europe is going to create its own bridge asset. Okay, that means they're going to have governance over that token. Now, why would the Bank of Russia want to accept or use a bridge token that is centralized and created by the Bank of Europe? It's not going to work. It has to be a decentralized token for all these banks in different parts of the world, and to accept it and feel comfortable trading through it, because it's neutral. So that's very important. So that's where XRP comes into play. And he says ODL. Again, when it comes to ODL, on-demand liquidity, we know XRP has that feature of on-demand liquidity via the liquidity hub, and you can get that feature on the public XRPL main chain as well. And there's no other token that has that feature, on-demand liquidity. Now, if they were to create a token of their own accord in the private chains, in the private networks, it still won't have on-demand liquidity, because for it to have on-demand liquidity, it has to be accepted by all the banks as a token that they're willing to accept and trust. Whereas if it's a token that they're not willing to accept and trust, then it won't have the ability to provide on-demand liquidity, if that makes sense. On-demand liquidity, with what XRP is trying to solve, only works really and truly efficiently if it's a token that is neutral. Then he says ISO related cross-border settlements. So he basically asks, can you confirm that is indeed our identical exclusive public XRP that is currently being utilized by banks and central banks on the private ledger? So to answer, they can use any token they want on the private ledger. They can create their own token on the private ledger. They are free to do that. The private ledger gives them that freedom. However, XRP has a unique and specific purpose that on the private ledger, it will be difficult for them to recreate or replicate the concept of XRP, because XRP is neutral and decentralized, whereas any token a bank creates within their sidechain on the private ledger would not be neutral and it would not be decentralized. So they can't replicate XRP, its concept, its purpose, its function. They won't be able to replicate it in a successful manner. I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. but at the same time, they could create any token they want. If they want to go out there and venture to create an alternative XRP token, by all means, go out there and do it. But wish them the best with having the rest of the world. For example, if America wants to go out there and do it, I wish the USA, the Federal Reserve, the best with trying to get the rest of the world to utilize their centralized token as a cross-border payment. It's not going to happen. The Bank of Russia is not going to trust it. The Bank of China is not going to trust it. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's going to be banks in Africa and Asia that are not going to be willing to accept the Federal Reserve's private token. And this is where XRP provides them with a solution, a fit purpose that they could use amongst each other in the private networks, and it's unique in its purpose. So, and there are no other competing or modified XRP, XRP2, XRP-like tokens. No, there isn't any other competing or modified XRP tokens. We have XRP or we have another token. Do you understand what I'm saying? So here we have the main native XRP that banks could use in the sidechains, or if they're using another token, it's another token. It's not a modified version of XRP. There is no XRP, XRP 1.0, XRP 2.0, XRP 3.0, XRP 2, XRP 5. And this is the idea that he's trying to put out there, that maybe there's two XRP tokens, the public XRP token and the private XRP token. No, there's only one XRP token that can move between the private layers and the public layers. And if the banks are creating another token, it's not going to be XRP. I mean, I'm spending so much time on the first question because it's such a loaded question. Look how long it is. So yeah, so I think I've answered question number 1. So let's move to question number 2. Now you'll see that the questions are very, very similar. Can you confirm there are no other tokens that are currently performing the same job of public XRP? No, there are no other tokens that are currently performing the same job of public XRP. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so as to not miss my next video.